better to spend 10 hours instead of 6 hours once we are able to develop 100% command. इस तैयारी का ये मंत्र हमेशा याद रखना. कोई भी चैप्टर पढ़ो, read one chapter of polity, but this should be your commitment कि once I have finished one chapter of polity, I am confident about this chapter. I can solve any PYQ. I can write any answer from this chapter. Then you will find that the syllabus is easy. ठीक है? It's better. We will not be able to finish one chapter in 2 days. We will read one chapter in 10 days. But that should be the criteria. ठीक है? और तभी आप शायद चीजों को समझ पाओगे, ओपिनियन को समझ पाओगे. Now we are coming to this system, that is permanent system of settlement. Okay. In this system of settlement, now the main, why it was named permanent and why it is called Zamindari, this we need to understand. But before this, we need to understand is that who introduced this system in India? Introduced this system in India? Very good. This can be prelims question. Lord Cornwallis introduced this system in India. Okay. And Lord Cornwallis, the time period of Lord Cornwallis is 1786 to 1793. That is the time period of Lord Cornwallis, 86 to 93. यही time period है ना Lord Cornwallis का, 86 to 93. Now what we see here is that Warren Hastings, what is the time period? थोड़ा relate करो चीजों को. 1780, 82 to 85. नहीं 1772 to 1785. और इसके बाद क्या आ गया? लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस. ठीक है. तो लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस रिप्लेस्ड हुम? वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स. वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स किस लिए आया था? एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म्स. लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस को क्यों भेजा गया? कि भाई वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स से जो नहीं हो पा रहा है वो तुम करो. ही वॉज ऑल्सो सेंट टू ब्रिंग एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म्स. तो क्या ये टॉपिक हमें अलग से पढ़ना चाहिए? एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म्स इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय वॉरेन हेस्टिंग्स एंड कॉर्नवालिस. यस, अलग से पढ़ेंगे बिकॉज दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. So Cornwallis was also sent in India to bring administrative reforms. Cornwallis was also sent in India to bring administrative reforms. Administrative reforms लाने के लिए भेजा गया, right? Sent to bring administrative reforms. And here we are going to discuss only land revenue system of administration. That which reforms were introduced by Cornwallis here. Only one aspect we are going to discuss, that okay, that which reforms were introduced by Cornwallis here. This part we are going to discuss. Okay, केवल यही part discuss करें. So now we are going to discuss here land revenue system of administration. Okay, it's called Zamindari. इसका मतलब क्या है? That देखो, सबसे पहले when Cornwallis came to India, there will be a problem. Okay, he saw that since this Warren Hastings model was also criticized. Warren Hastings model was also criticized a lot. Also criticized a lot because it was, you can say that its impact can be seen on the peasants. Peasants started fleeing and leaving their homes and all this. When Cornwallis came, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर क्या करता है? सबसे पहले अगर लोग नाराज हैं, ठीक है, तो उनको बताता है कि आपकी नाराजगी जायज है. योर कंसर्न्स आर वैलिड. ओके, नाउ कॉर्नवालिस विल से दैट द कंसर्न्स ऑफ द पीपल आर वैलिड. द कंसर्न्स ऑफ पीपल आर वैलिड एंड ही विल से दैट वी आर गोइंग टू इंट्रोड्यूस a new model. We are going to introduce a new model, and this model is already in practice in Britain. इसने कहा कि we are going to introduce a new model and this model is already in practice in Britain. ये मॉडल तो ब्रिटेन में पहले से ही प्रैक्टिस में. It means this is the British model which we are going to introduce in India. Okay, this is why, to convince the people of Bengal. He is saying that this is a British model. He will say that in Britain there are landlords, वहाँ landlords हैं, okay, and we have given the responsibility of collection of land revenue to these knights, lords, or the landlords. And we are going to introduce the same system here in India. And what he will do, okay, so he will select some areas, that are some particular areas, right? And these areas are Bengal, Bihar, read this, Odisha, Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, okay. Some areas of UP, some areas of UP, that is United Province, we can write some areas of United Province, UP today, okay. Some areas in Karnataka, particularly north part, okay. So the northern part of Karnataka, some areas in Karnataka, okay. What he did, he selected some areas, okay. And which particular areas were selected? This is the question, that which particular areas were selected. So he selected those particular areas where the powerful landlords और जमींदार्स were present. जहां पहले से ही देखो, ऐसा नहीं है कि हिंदुस्तान में हर जगह जमींदार हुआ करता था, नहीं. The system was very much diversified. So he will select only those areas where powerful zamindars were present, where powerful zamindars were present. He will select only those areas where powerful zamindars were present. Powerful zamindars were present. And here what will happen? Okay, for the collection of land revenue, EIC will, okay, do settlement, or EIC will do settlement with a particular class, and this particular class is Zamindar class or big landlords. Zamindar class or big landlords, okay, big landlords. This agreement will be signed with a particular class, that is Zamindar class or big landlords. Zamindar class or big landlords, okay. And what does it mean? It means that suppose you are a zamindar in this particular area, so it will be your duty to collect land revenue from this particular area, and you will submit this land revenue to the East India Company, okay. So what was the task of zamindar here? The task was to collect land revenue, from his particular zamindari area, from his particular area of control, or influence, okay, to collect land revenue from his particular area of control and influence, जहाँ उसका control है, जहाँ उसका influence है, to collect land revenue from that particular area, and to submit this land revenue to EIC, and to submit this land revenue to EIC. EIC को land revenue submit करना, okay. This was the task. Now कोई काम free में तो करेगा नहीं, okay. So what is the benefit that zamindar will get? Read this, benefits for zamindars. What are the benefits for zamindars here? तो जमींदार का पहला बेनिफिट क्या है? He will get share of land revenue. He will get share of land revenue. This is the benefit for zamindar. He will get share of land revenue. It means land revenue will be divided among two entities. Okay, land revenue will be divided here. It will be divided among two entities. One is East India Company and the second is zamindar. Land revenue will be divided here. East India Company will get the largest share. East India Company will get the largest share, and it will be 10/11, and zamindars will get the least share. Zamindars will get the least share, and it will be 1/11. Zamindars will get the least share. It will be 1/11, and this is the problem. Britain में तो मॉडल यही था, but in Britain zamindars were getting more share. In India, zamindars are getting a very meager, very less share, that is 1/11, okay. And East India Company is getting the largest share, 10/11. Now, what is the third and the most important point? What is the next benefit फॉर जमींदार हियर, रेड दिस, नेक्स्ट बेनिफिट फॉर जमींदार। जमींदार का अगला बेनिफिट, और यहाँ पे पॉइंट बड़ा ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, देखते रहो। हियर आई एम जस्ट डिवाइडिंग इट इनटू टू पार्ट्स। एंड मुगल सिस्टम, मुगल रूल में क्या था? ओके, तो मुगल रूल में इट वाज हेरिडिटरी और नॉन हेरिडिटरी। द राइट्स वेर नॉन हेरिडिटरी प्लस द राइट्स वेर ट्रांसफरेबल। It was in Mughal during this 16th to 17th century. The rights were non-hereditary and transferable. And here EIC rule में क्या होगा? Cornwallis will do what? Yes. नहीं 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 नहीं, यही मैंने बताया ना, यहाँ पे प्रीलिम्स का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन होगा, ध्यान से समझना। हेरिडिटरी एंड इट विल बी ट्रांसफरेबल, यही तो बहुत ही खतरनाक कॉम्बो है, यही तो आपको बताना है। This can be asked in prelims question. Be very alert here. Cornwallis will make the rights of these zamindars hereditary and transferable. Hereditary and transferable. और ये सुन के बड़ा अजीब लग रहा है कि ये क्या हुआ, ठीक है, ये तो कॉकटेल बड़ा खतरनाक है। Hereditary and transferable. How it will happen? देखो, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी will say that your zamindari rights, okay, will be granted for permanent, पहली चीज। प्लस फॉर एग्जाम्पल what was the general pattern that in a village one person was zamindar and he was controlling largest share of land। ध्यान से समझना, यहाँ पे क्या करने जा रहे हैं? ब्रिटिश आर गोइंग टू डिस्टॉर्ट आवर ट्रेडिशनल लैंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मैकेनिज्म। और ये प्रॉब्लम आगे जाके जुड़ जाती है नक्सलवाद की प्रॉब्लम से, यहीं से नक्सलवाद का जन्म हुआ। Okay, what was the system here? Suppose you are the zamindar, so you are controlling largest land holding ना, आपके पास सबसे ज्यादा जमीन है, इसीलिए आप क्या हो? जमींदार हो। But in villages there are other people who are having their own lands, लोगों के पास खुद की भी जमीन है। Okay, and in India no any peasant was landless peasant. This was the traditional culture of India. हर किसान के पास अपनी थोड़ी बहुत जमीन थी। No any peasant was landless peasant. It means each and every peasant were possessing some amount of land, right? It means they were independent peasants. All peasants were having or possessing some amount of land. They are the independent peasants. And what about this zamindar? Zamindar was having ownership over, he was having ownership over large land holdings, and he is zamindar of this particular village. The name of this village is A. Now East India Company will say what? Lalach, dena. EIC will say that now we will treat you, you are already zamindar of this village, now East India Company gives you the ownership of land of this entire village. Now we will consider you the master or owner of this land. यानी अब जमींदार केवल इस एरिया का मालिक नहीं है, he is the owner of this entire land. पहले जमींदार नाराज होगा, कहेगा ये क्या मजाक करो, शेयर ऑफ टैक्सेस वी आर गेटिंग 1/11 ओनली। EIC will say that घबराओ मत, we are going to accept you as the owner of this entire area. It means now you are the owner of this entire village, you are the owner of this entire land holdings. जमींदार फंस गया बेचारा, उसने कहा जाने दो, शेयर कम मिल रहा है लेकिन मालिक तो मैं ही हूं। ध्यान से समझते रहो, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने कैसे एक्सप्लॉइट की इंडिया को, जमींदार्स को कंफ्यूज कर दिया। ऑन वन साइड दे ऑफर्ड लेस शेयर, जमींदार वाज वेरी डिससेटिस्फाइड, दूसरी तरफ खुश कर दिया, कहा यू आर गिवन ownership of this land, you are given ownership of this land। जमींदार खुश। जमींदार ने कहा अगली बात मैं कल करूंगा, अभी मैं पार्टी करने जा रहा हूं, आई हैव गॉट द ओनरशिप ऑफ दिस एंटायर लैंड। अगले दिन पार्टी वार्टी करके जमींदार आएगा। नाउ जमींदार विल आस्क दैट माय राइट्स आर हेरिडिटरी और नॉट। किसी ने कहा होगा अरे अंग्रेज बहुत चालाक हैं, थोड़ा अलर्ट रहो, जाके पूछो तुम्हारे राइट्स हेरिडिटरी हैं कि नहीं। Now zamindar will ask, my rights are hereditary or not? My sons and daughters will become the zamindars or not? East India Company will say that भाई your rights are hereditary। इतना नाराज हो के क्यों आए हो? जमींदार कहेगा मैं फिर पार्टी करने जा रहा हूँ, अब कल आके बात करूंगा। फिर दोबारा पार्टी करने जाएगा। फिर कोई दोस्त बताएगा, कहेगा यार अंग्रेजों से बच के जाके फिर से पूछो कि तुम्हारे राइट्स ट्रांसफरेबल हैं कि नॉन ट्रांसफरेबल हैं। नाउ नेक्स्ट डे जमींदार विल कम एंड विल आस्क माय राइट्स आर ट्रांसफरेबल और नॉन ट्रांसफरेबल। ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी विल से दैट इट इज ट्रांसफरेबल। हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल? द राइट्स आर हेरिडिटरी एंड एट द सेम टाइम इट्स ट्रांसफरेबल। ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी सेड टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस, जैसे इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज वाले लिखते हैं टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस। कंपनी विल से दैट if you will keep submitting the land revenue on time, okay, if you have collected land revenue and has submitted the land revenue on time, okay, then you are the owner of the land, it will become hereditary. But once you fail to collect land revenue and submit land revenue on time, so terms and conditions will apply. And what is this terms and condition? The terms and condition is sunset law. क्या कहा? Sunset laws will apply. And what is sunset law? If you fail to pay or submit the land revenue on the fixed deadline, if you fail to pay this land revenue on the fixed deadline or the fixed time, what will happen? Your zamindari rights will be lapsed. Your zamindari rights will be lapsed. Your zamindari rights will be lapsed. आपकी जमींदारी राइट चली जाएगी। और फिर समझाया, कहा कि जमींदारी राइट चली जाएगी मतलब आपकी खुद की भी जमीन चली जाएगी। You are now owner of this entire land. Now when your zamindari rights will be lapsed, what will happen? आपकी ओनरशिप इस पे भी नहीं रहेगी। Your zamindari rights will be lapsed. So zamindar will ask, what will you do the next? Cornwallis will say that we will follow the method of Warren Hastings, auctioning. We will auction the zamindari rights. We will auction the zamindari rights, and those who will offer the highest bidding amount, we will sell the zamindari rights to that person. मेरी बात समझ गए? कितना खतरनाक है प्लान? इज इट रिफॉर्म इन द लैंड रेवेन्यू सिस्टम ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन? क्या ये रिफॉर्म है? नहीं। गॉट इट? is the topic clear that the settlement was done with zamindars? Task of zamindar is to collect the land revenue and submit it to the East India Company, and zamindar will get the share. Largest share will be given to EIC, that is 10/11. Least share will be given to zamindar, that is 1/11. Zamindars were not happy by this. Now what EIC will say, that okay, we are also giving you what? Ownership rights, zamindari rights along with the ownership rights of this entire area. Now you are the owner of the land. Now zamindar was very happy. East India Company says that this right is hereditary, but under some terms and conditions. If sunset law will apply, then the rights become transferable. Is it clear? If you fail to pay land revenue on time, then okay, we can take these rights from you, we can auction this land, and this can be sold to the other zamindars. This can happen, ये हो सकता है, ठीक है? And in this way, this was applied in some particular areas, only those areas where what was the where the powerful zamindars were present. Okay, the areas where I have already discussed: Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, some parts of United Province, some parts of South India also, especially Karnataka region, northern part of the Karnataka region, where powerful zamindars were present. Overall, this model was applied on 19% of the British area, ब्रिटिश इंडियन एरिया। ब्रिटिश के पास जितना भी लैंड था, जितना भी एरिया पे इनका कंट्रोल और इन्फ्लुएंस था, उसके 19% पर दिस मॉडल वाज अप्लाइड। ठीक है, दिस मॉडल विल अप्लाई ऑन 19% एरिया। ओके, नाउ व्हाट विल बी द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस? व्हाट विल बी द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस? और यस प्लीज। एग्जैक्टली। actually the British will do what? In order, this was an attempt to appease the Zamindars also. Clear? That when Zamindars will get this opportunity that they are now owners of this entire land or the area, so they will support East India Company in future. They may emerge as the supporters, you can say that loyal supporters of British rule in India. This was one objective, because there was the lack of manpower. I have already told you that, and company is basically a trading company, business company. So they will try to save their expenditure also. Obviously, they will give some more privileges to the Zamindars, but these privileges will vary. It's not universal. That's why I did not discuss with you. For example, that in Zamindars also there are different class of Zamindars. Na? Some are very powerful. So British will negotiate with the powerful Zamindars. They will say that आप का जो खुद का जमीन है उस पे मत दो. But in case of a small and petty Zamindars, what they will do? They will change the rules. But that is not asked in exam. Okay, so this is the basic structure that is asked in exam. Got it, Akash? Okay. Now, consequences. So what will be the consequences? तो देखो इसमें एक consequence सबसे पहले बता रहा हूँ कि for example suppose you are the zamindar and you have got the zamindari rights. Okay, you have got the ownership rights here, or the ownership rights will lie with the zamindars of this particular area, but you failed to submit land revenue on time. You failed submit land revenue on time. On time आप नहीं पे कर पाए. In that case what will happen? Sunset. Exactly, here which law will be applied? Sunset laws will be applied. This concept is very important, that's why I'm discussing you. Sunset laws will be applied, and after this application of sunset law, the zamindar will lost his zamindari rights. Now what will happen? This zamindari rights of this entire area now will be sold. It will be sold. Okay, and the method is what? Auction. It means auctioned. The rights will be auctioned. So in this auctioning, okay, businessmen, you can say that traders, merchants, okay, different groups can participate. Different groups can participate. Now suppose this is the zamindari right of a particular village nearby to Lucknow. मान लेते हैं लखनऊ के आसपास का है. So here the people who are taking part in this auctioning, they may come from Gujarat also, MP also, Karnataka also. कहीं से भी आ सकते हैं. The people are open to come. They come from Manipur also. Okay, so here what will happen? Businessman will come. Businessman from different parts of India will come. Businessman from different parts of India will come. Suppose a businessman comes from, okay, just take this example that a businessman is coming from Kerala, and he has offered the highest bidding amount. Businessman coming from Kerala has offered the highest bidding amount. In that case, now what will happen? Okay, he will got the zamindari rights. Businessman of Kerala has got the zamindari right. Now what will happen? Will he stay here? No. He will return back to Kerala and he will appoint his representative. एक आदमी को salary पे रख देगा that collect the land revenue from this particular area. He will appoint one person, okay, and he will pay salary to that person or share, and he will collect land revenue. That is what? Representative. This might be possible that I am the representative and you are the zamindar of, you are the businessman of Kerala. आपने ये task मुझे दिया, मैंने क्या किया? I have further appointed another person. मैंने देखा मालिक आता नहीं है, तो मैंने किसी दूसरे आदमी को नौकरी पे रख लिया. जैसे आज से 5 साल पहले गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में टीचर करते थे, वो टीचर हो जाते थे, सैलरी लेते थे और आधी सैलरी पे किसी और को रख देते थे स्कूल. अब तो ऐसा नहीं होता है, बट दिस वाज हैपनिंग हियर. ओके, so the same was happening. It means what is happening? The main zamindar now is what? Okay, is not a local of that area. He has returned back. The kind of the sentiment which the local zamindar was having with the local peasant, that sentiment will be lost. Traditional zamindar क्या करते थे? They used to help the local peasants. Okay, when there is a marriage in their home, when there is some other problem, they used to help those people because there was a traditional relation coming from the centuries. So that relation will be disturbed. ये तो बिजनेसमैन है, इसको क्या फर्क पड़ता है आपकी बेटी की शादी है तो, मेरी बात समझ गया ना? बट पुराने जमींदार को फर्क पड़ता था. इफ देर इज फेमाइन, इफ देर इज ड्रॉट, तो देर वॉज अ ट्रेडिशनल रिलेशन. पुराने जमींदार को फर्क पड़ता था कि अगर आप प्रॉब्लम में हो तो आपसे पैसा नहीं लेगा, नहीं तो उसकी इज्जत चली जाएगी. ठीक है, उसको मेंटेन करना है. गॉट इट? ओके. सो जमींदार्स हैज आल्सो बीन पेंटेड इन वेरी ओके बैड पिक्चर. 70s की फिल्मों में तो जमींदार को हमेशा गलत ही दिखलाया गया है, बट अच्छे जमींदार भी थे इंडिया में. देयर वाज अ गुड रिलेशन बिटवीन द जमींदार एंड peasants also. Now this zamindar is not having that good relation. He has appointed his representative. This representative has further appointed another representative. So this entire system is known as sub-infeudation or absentee landlordship. Okay, so this problem is known as absentee landlordship. This problem is known as absentee landlordship. And what is sub-infeudation? One zamindar has recruited another zamindar, another zamindar has recruited another zamindar. So this channel is known as sub-infeudation. This is known as sub-infeudation, right? One zamindar has represented another as his representative, another has represented or recruited someone else. So this is what? Okay, a kind of sub-infeudation. So absentee landlordship and sub-infeudation will do what? Is increasing the number and role of intermediaries. Sub-infeudation में कौन बढ़ रहा है? Intermediaries. It's increasing the number and the role of intermediaries. So what will happen? Intermediaries का number जब बढ़ेगा तो इसका impact क्या होगा? Corruption. और उस corruption का burden ultimately कहाँ पड़ेगा? On the shoulders of the peasant. अगर exactly peasant. अगर आप पीजेंट हो और ऑन टाइम नहीं रिवेन्यू दे पा रहे हो तो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कहेगा देखो भैया 1 मंथ बाद मैं आके ले जाऊंगा लेकिन इतना पैसा ज्यादा लूंगा. इज इट पॉसिबल? ओके, so yes, so write this corruption. Okay, corruption will increase. Okay, and the ultimate burden will lie on the shoulder of the peasants. Ultimate burden will lie on the shoulder of the peasants, and the ultimate burden will be on the shoulder of the peasants. Ultimate burden peasants पर ही होगा. Ultimate burden will lie on the shoulder of the peasants. Now, impact on zamindars. Yes, impact can be seen on zamindars also. Impact on zamindar. क्या impact होगा समझो इस बात को. If you are a good zamindar, so what will happen? If you are having good relation with your village members, okay, if you have maintained traditionally good relations, अगर आपके good relations हैं, and if there is some famine and drought, or if the peasant is in any financial difficulty, what will happen? If there is famine and drought, you will give relaxation. You will not collect the land revenue in forceful manner. You will not use coercive methods to collect the land revenue. आप बल प्रयोग नहीं करोगे, जबरदस्ती वसूल नहीं करोगे. And what will be the long term impact of this? You will not be able to submit all the land revenue on time. शेयर भी आपका बहुत कम है. इट इज 1/11. अगर ये 50-50 होता तो आप अपनी जेब से कुछ डाल देते, बट आपके पास शेयर इतना है ही नहीं. ठीक है, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year you can do this with your savings, but उसके बाद क्या होगा? Ultimately one day you will fail, and that was happening. The good zamindars failed since they were sympathetic. The good zamindars were what? Since they were sympathetic for the needs of their own people, needs of their local people, so they failed to submit land revenues on time. Since they were very sympathetic, so they failed to submit the land revenues on time. On time land revenue को submit नहीं कर पाए. They failed to submit land revenues on time. This happened. Got it? They failed to submit land revenue on time. So what will happen? Sunset law will be applied to them. Sunset law will be applied to them, and what will happen? They will lost their zamindari rights, and now they are the displaced zamindars. Now they are the displaced zamindars. This word displaced zamindars is used for such kind of zamindars. Now they are the displaced zamindars. Got it? कितना आसान concept है. They are the displaced zamindars. Now, when peasant revolts will take place, so these displaced zamindars will emerge as the leaders in those peasant revolts. ये भी ध्यान रखना है. When revolt of 1857 take place, peasants will support that revolt and displaced zamindars will also support that revolt. So you can write this, that in case of some peasant revolts, displaced zamindars, in case of some peasant revolts, these displaced zamindars, in case of some peasant revolts, these displaced zamindars, okay, in case of peasant revolts, these displaced zamindars emerged as leaders in those revolts, these displaced zamindars emerged as leaders in those revolts. They emerged as leaders in those revolt. Right? One more point, that in revolt of 1857 also, these displaced zamindars played important role. In revolt of 1857 also, these displaced zamindars played important role. Now, what about bad zamindars, whom we are calling bad zamindars? Okay, oppressive zamindars, you will write this point, oppressive Indian zamindars, or bad zamindars, or oppressive Indian zamindars. Those who were not sympathetic, to the needs of Indian people. Those who were not sympathetic to the needs of Indian people were bad zamindars. Right? Those who were not sympathetic to the needs of Indian people were bad zamindars. So what they will do? They will collect the land revenue with forceful means, by coercive means. They will not compromise, and they will submit the land revenue on time. Okay? So this will happen. So write this. Okay, they will use brutal methods or coercive means to collect land revenue from the peasants. They will use brutal methods, okay, for the collection of land revenue. Brutal methods or coercive means. Dekho, they have appointed latials. This many standard books have written these words, L-A-T-H-I-A-Ls. Latials means latat. Okay, they will appoint latials, okay, to use or to torture peasants so that land revenue could be collected. So forceful means they will be able to submit, plus they will also do what? They will start supporting or assisting EIC officials in trade and commerce. Okay, write this point, that they also started supporting and assisting EIC officials. They also started supporting or assisting EIC officials. They also started supporting or assisting EIC officials in their trade and commerce. They also started supporting or assisting EIC officials in their trade and commerce, and they emerged as most important associates, and they emerged as most important associates, or loyal supporters of presence of EIC rule in India. And they emerged as, okay, loyal supporters of presence of British rule in India. Have you written this? Okay, loyal supporters. So what will happen in revolt of 1857? British were supported by this class of zamindar. ठीक है ना? Oppressive zamindars, bad zamindars मत लिखना. ठीक है, ऑपरेटिव जमींदार इज अ गुड वर्ड, ठीक है ना. So read this. In revolt of 1857, British were supported and protected by this class of zamindar. तो सारे जमींदार बुरे थे हम ऐसा नहीं कह सकते. We cannot universalize any fact, any information, right? So British were supported by this class of zamindar. This class of zamindar. Okay. Now you have related this concept, zamindar issue. Now what will be the impact on peasants? Peasants पे क्या impact होगा? आप खुद ही बताओ क्या impact होगा? Adverse. Okay. All the burden is on the shoulder of the peasants. So the peasants पे क्या होगा? Adverse effect. Okay. Land revenue rates were fixed very high. Land revenue rates were fixed very high. No relaxation were given. No relaxations were given. Okay. Even in case of droughts and famine. This was the question in UPSC 2024 prelims. 2024 prelims. Okay. So even in case of droughts and famines, relaxations were not given. In case of droughts and famines, relaxations were not given. Land revenue rate पहले से ही high है. Okay. No, you are getting no relaxation. So what will happen? Okay. Now agriculture will not be profitable. Now agriculture will not be profitable. Now the peasants will not be able to manage 2 meals a day. 2 meals a day, right? The agriculture was not profitable and the peasants were not able to manage 2 meals a day. Agriculture was not profitable. खेती अब उतनी profitable रह नहीं गई थी, right? Okay. They were tortured. Okay. Brutal and coercive methods, okay, were used. So they were tortured. And what about the role of intermediaries? Okay, the role of intermediaries increased, and this added to the exploitation of the peasants, right? The role of intermediaries increased, and this added to the exploitation of peasants. Okay, role of intermediaries will increase, and this will add to the exploitation of peasants. And the most important challenge is what? Previously, the peasants were independent peasants. Now, they are the tenants on their own land. कितना बुरा लगेगा अपने ही घर में किराया देके रहना पड़े तो. ठीक है, यही हुआ उनके साथ. ओके, so now their independent status was lost, right? This now the peasants were not independent peasants. They were the tenants on their own land. They were the tenants on their own land. The peasants were not independent peasants. They were the tenants on their own land. Okay. They were the tenants on their own land. What about the traditional distribution of land? That traditional system was disturbed or not? Distribution of land, yes. ठीक है. लैंडलेस क्लास इमर्ज कर गया. लैंड विल बिकम अ सेलेबल कमोडिटी. ठीक है, सेलेबल कमोडिटी हुआ कि नहीं? ऑक्शनिंग किया जा रहा है, नए बिजनेसमैन आ रहे हैं. जब बिजनेसमैन को लॉस होगा तो वो अपनी राइट किसी और को बेच देगा. तो लैंड वाज नेवर अ सेलेबल कमोडिटी इन इंडिया. नाउ लैंड हैज बिकम अ सेलेबल कमोडिटी. Okay, the traditional land structure was disturbed. So write this. Land became a sellable commodity now. Land became a sellable commodity now. Land became a sellable commodity now. Okay, land became a sellable commodity now. Okay, and the next point is the traditional structure or pattern of land distribution was also changed or transformed as a result. The traditional structure or pattern of land distribution was also changed as a result. Okay, was also changed as a result. And right, the consequences can be felt till today, and the consequences of this system, okay, can be felt or realized till date. Consequences can be felt or realized till date. Why I am saying this? Naxalism, 1970s, from a village, Naxalbari village in Bengal. It started as a conflict between the landless class of peasants and the powerful landlords of that particular area. After independence, the government, okay, tried to ensure this system, okay, to correct this land distribution, okay, pattern. For that, land Zamindari Abolition Act was also introduced, but it was not applied properly. It could not be implemented in an effective manner. So 1970s, what we see, that from Naxalbari village, a conflict start. This was a conflict between the landless class of peasants and the landowners. But gradually, this conflict will change its direction and orientation. Okay, those actors will involved, and they will start this platform to create internal security threats or challenges for the India. And it was supported by some foreign actors also, who want to create unrest, problems in our country, and gradually it emerged as one of the biggest internal security threat or challenges. So the movement changed its orientation. Now it's not the struggle or conflict of the peasants. ठीक है, अब इसमें क्या हो गया है? Okay, many new elements are there, and they are using these innocent people, okay, to fulfill their agenda. And the agenda is what? To bring unrest in our country, okay, to make the country weaker from within, so that, okay, they could gain strategic benefits out of this. Clear? So who gave birth to this problem? British. ठीक है, तो ब्रिटिश ने जो भी सिस्टम में चेंजेस किए, क्या उन्होंने इस बात को देखा इसका क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंस हो सकता है? व्हेन ब्रिटिश हेल्प्ड इन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ मुस्लिम लीग इन 1906, क्या उन्होंने देखा कि इन फ्यूचर दिस द ओरिएंटेशन कुड बी चेंज लाइक दिस, दैट एक सेपरेट मुस्लिम होमलैंड की मांग होने लगेगी? नहीं. दे ओनली ट्राइड टू प्रोटेक्ट देयर इंटरेस्ट. They only tried to promote their selfish interest. They only tried to increase their profits in India, and for that, whatever was needed, they did. And this is colonialism. Whatever will be done in colony, the ultimate objective is to provide gains or benefits to the mother country or the parent nation. So I have told you that this entire chapter is like a battleground. Now let's look at some slides so that we could get some new facts or information, and we will be able to revise the theme also. Now this is the slide. Are you getting this slide on the screen, Akash? Okay, Yashashwini, right? Now you will be able to relate. अब slide का importance समझ में आया ना? ठीक है, केवल स्लाइड से पढ़ाऊंगा तो नहीं आप उतना इफेक्टिव सीख पाओगे. सो दिस इज यूज टू सेव टाइम एंड टू रिवाइज. ठीक है, ये पढ़ने के लिए नहीं यूज किया जाता है. ठीक है, this is used to save time. नहीं तो फिर क्या होगा? Now the book lines of book are on the screen. Okay, and if as a teacher I will start speaking the same language that is used in the book, so what is the worth of the classes? Book तो आपके सामने है ना, content is already there on the internet. कुछ भी नया मैं थोड़ी ना पढ़ा रहा हूँ, right? Now Cornwallis, what I have written here, it was a landlord based system. It means the settlement was done with the class of landlords. तो हमेशा याद रहेगा, दैट्स वाई दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज जमींदारी बंदोबस्त. ठीक है, इसीलिए इसको क्या कहते हैं? जमींदारी बंदोबस्त. ओके, नाउ कॉर्नवालिस ग्रेटर अचीवमेंट इन इंडिया वाज द reorganization of the land taxation. Other tasks of administrative reforms were also there, but this was one of his most important tasks, and this is known as Permanent Settlement, okay, of 1793. So year is what? 1793. Agricultural land in Bengal was cultivated by large number of small farmers who paid rent to a group of zamindar or landowners. So the same group will be chosen, okay, for this settlement. Under the Mughals, the government had collected taxes from the zamindars, right? The EIC, however, had tried to set aside the zamindars and collect land taxes either directly through company officials or through revenue farmers. It was about the previous topic that we discussed, who collected the rent from the peasants and paid a lump sum amount to the government. So this model was there during this period, 1765 to 1772. Okay. Then what happened? Okay, the new system introduced by Cornwallis was introduced because here the widespread corruption and the peasants suffering. Okay, severity, it means previous system the peasants had a lot of complaints कि system अच्छा नहीं था. Cornwallis decided to go back to the old Mughal system. He granted the legal ownership of the land. If the question is asked, ownership of the land was given to the zamindars, you will say that yes, it is correct. ये ध्यान रखना, ownership दूसरा, hereditary तीसरा word, transferable. Always take care of these words. Ownership given to the zamindars. In return, they had to pay the government 90% of the rent. Obviously, the share was like this, 10, 11 or 1 upon 11. So it was almost 90% to the government, which they collected from the farmers. These arrangements last forever, hence title Permanent Settlement. You get it? So that is why it is called Permanent Settlement. Lord Cornwallis was given the task of reforming British administration, establishing good relation with the Indian princess. He had a lot of tasks to do. He set up an independent judicial system. Cornwallis prevented the company's government servants from conducting private trade. I will discuss it later. Other reforms में इसने corruption को रोका, company officials के private trade को भी he tried to stop this by holding government contracts and reform the police and criminal justice system. So this part we will discuss later. This is a question here. You can write a question, right? Question लिख लो. I will discuss. These two are the most important question. Question number 1. Discuss the administrative reforms introduced by Warren Hastings in India. This is one question. I will discuss it later. There will be a separate chapter for this, right? Discuss the administrative reforms introduced by Warren Hastings in India. Discuss the administrative reforms introduced by Warren Hastings in India. And the second question is discuss the administrative reforms introduced by Cornwallis in India. Discuss the administrative reforms introduced by Warren Hastings in India, and discuss the administrative reforms introduced by Cornwallis in India. These are two basically themes that we need to discuss. ऐसे ही there are some other personalities like Lord Mayo, Lord Ripon, Dalhousie, William Bantick, okay, Canning. So we must know about all these administrators. They were one of the good administrators of that time. Lord Cornwallis is famous for dealing with Tipu Sultan. ये तो हमें पता ही है. What is the time period of Lord Cornwallis? 86 to 93. Okay. और आपको याद आ रहा है एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर. फर्स्ट 67 to 69. सेकेंड 80-84. थर्ड 1992. थर्ड में कौन डील कर रहा था? टीपू सुल्तान. और टीपू सुल्तान was defeated or not? Yes, he was defeated. उसके sons were taken hostages. Half of the territories he left. और फाइनल डिसिसिव वॉर कब हो रहा है? 1799. तब तक कॉर्नवालिस जा चुका है, बट टीपू सुल्तान को कमजोर किया ना, इसी ने तो किया, कॉर्नवालिस. सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. थर्ड एंग्लो मैसूर वॉर. ओके, कॉर्नवालिस led this third Anglo Mysore war. Got it? Okay, so these are some of the facts and information. I think that these are added facts and informations. Okay, so you can relate, you can get some idea कि कैसे इसको हम आगे relate करके पढ़ सकते हैं. Got it? Now the next model is Rayatwari system of settlement. Write this, Rayatwari system of settlement. That is the third model. Second है ना, third important में आ जाता है. This is Rayatwari system